Hi everyone, welcome back to the session. This is Carol, your trainer. Let me quickly start sharing my screen and let's see what's the agenda today. Yesterday we had gone through version control, how it affects SDLC. We went through Git concepts using, actually we will be doing the practicals with Git, GitHub, Git Bash, these three. And yeah, so by now you should be ready with your GitHub account. Git Bash should be installed in your system. And I'm going to give you the link. So we are going to use this remote repo link. So let me copy this link. And so today is day 9. Let's see how we can use Git locally to build our get our local and remote repo. Actually, the remote repo, I think I have already shown yesterday how to fork it. Let me just check the account. So this is my system. Let me log in. So let me get rid of these empty project folders. Let's check the remote repo first, which means I'm referring to GitHub. Okay, Chrome did not shut down. Okay. So this is my GitHub account. Let's see the status here. So there is already one project, as I can see. So it was actually from this link that I created my personal. So this is from a user called Prometheus 13 Titan, which is me again. So these are the code files, code base files. So this entire thing is the code base. All these things are required to display our website. Okay, cool. So, but then this is, you're able to see this because this is a public repository. Now we are using a GitHub free account. That's why we are using public repositories. But usually in your organization, it will be a private repository. Obviously, no company wants to make their code public unless they are working on a community project. So we are going to use the public repositories both in GitHub and later on in Docker Hub also, because we are using free accounts here. So that's why it says public here. Okay. Now this repository, the project name is DevOps Basics. So if I log in here, so this one is also DevOps Basics. If you see here, but it has got my username. This is my username here. Okay, now because I have multiple accounts, in order to identify so that I can use it in different sessions, I have given this strange name, but otherwise you will have some, maybe a project name or something. Okay, so but this is the username. So I already have this remote repo created. We did this yesterday or maybe day before yesterday. So I'll just click on this link. And if you see, all the same files and folders which were present for Prometheus 13 user, those same files and folders also exist in my remote repo. So my remote repository is ready. So I can actually, to avoid confusion, let's get rid of this page. Okay, so let's here. So you have your now before we can delve into any other thing, we need to take care of this. I'll show you how. Now this is your GitHub remote repo. You have your code files here. now you need your local repo. You need to build your local repo. Okay, this code is not, the code that you're seeing here is not present in your local system. This is in the GitHub server. Okay, we are not maintaining that, but we are using that. We have a login. Right. Now, I hope everybody has forked it from here, from the link which I had given earlier. It is present in the notes. So you can check day 8 notes in Git Practicals. You can use this link. If you do not fork it, you will not be able to continue, because I mean, like, if you can use this link, okay, but for your day-to-day activities, you might click on things where I will be receiving pull requests, which I'm going to deny. So you need to create your own local repo, GitHub repo with your own user account. Okay, so it should, your I mean, like, when you go to your main account, like, just go click on this kitten icon. In your dashboard, you should have a DevOps Basics link preceding with your username. Okay. Otherwise, you will not be able to follow through with this course. You will not be able to do the practicals, because there will be lots of changes we will have to make real time, because we are going to do a role play as developer also. Okay. Now, how do we create the local repository? So this is, let me go back to the diagram here. So this is your remote repo, right? What we are going to do is we are going to clone this into our, so this is your local desktop. Try to understand the flow here. This is your local system, desktop PC, whatever. It can also be a remote PC, okay? It can be, for example, this can be your EC2 instance also. Either way, the procedure will be still the same. Okay, it can be your remote EC2 instance also. You can clone it into that remote system as well. Whatever be the scenario, you definitely, before you can proceed, what will you need? You will need the Git client to be installed. Without that, it is not going to work. So it would be something like this. Git will definitely be there in the picture. Without that, no, you cannot simply use it. It's as simple as that. That is the underlying software that is working. So Git needs to be installed in your local system. So be it your EC2 instance or be it your local system. This is your local PC. This is your. This is also a local PC, but this is on cloud. Okay. Now, in terms, so see, don't get confused with remote. Remote is, it is contextual. With respect to these computers, this GitHub account is, GitHub server is actually a remote repository. Guys, if you are posting something in chat, please expect a delay, because I'm actually focusing on my screen here. So yeah, I mean, like, when I pause, then I will be checking your chat links. In case if you have any question, I would rather suggest you to unmute and kindly like directly ask me the question. Okay, that I mean, like let's make the session interactive. That would be make more sense. Okay, so remote. The word remote here is with respect to these individual PCs. Now, this is consider this my local desktop here, or maybe I have created a computer on cloud. So even with respect to the GitHub account, this is GitHub server. This is again a local PC. In both the scenarios, you still need Git installed. So when I'm checking my system here, so this is my local PC. So I already installed Git bash here. Okay, in the process of, this was more of a GUI method, graphical user interface method. So in the process of installing Git bash, I also installed Git there. Okay, so let's see how we can create our local repo in Windows-based system, like in a local PC. So for that, create a folder like this called like my projects. I mean, like you should be aware of the location where you have stored it, and like get inside the folder, and then right click on it, and then click on open Git bash here. By doing this, what you're going to do is you don't need to navigate to, because Windows file structure is different. You don't need to remember like C drive / user / admin one, and then that kind of thing. Because if I check the properties here, like this is the lengthy path name. Okay. And like, because you're having to switch between Windows and Linux every time, Windows commands are CMD commands are not equivalent to Linux commands. So that is why let Git bash take care of it. You don't need to navigate by using the command line interface. You can just directly right click and click on open Git bash here. So what are we doing here now? Let me do a recap. This is the first scenario we are doing. I'm going to clone this. Let me actually fetch. Okay, so this was the link from which you have forked it. The link that I'm actually going to use, I already have created the remote repo. So this is the remote repo. Okay. So this is, if you click on code here, and then make sure you select HTTPS, okay, not these other two options. So here, this is the link. This is the link from where you are going to clone this entire code base. All these files and folders should be in your local system. Right now, it is not. So let me post this. So this is the GitHub link, remote repo link. This is, you are going to clone from this link. Okay, so your link should look different. In this part where it says B71 DevOps, your link should have your username. Okay, not my username. Do not blindly copy paste. Understand before using any link or typing any command. There you go. So we are doing this scenario one where we are going to clone this into our local PC. In the next part, I will show the EC2 thing. So I've got the link. Now I'm going to use Git bash. So basically, I mean, like here, as I showed earlier, Git client should be installed. Okay, otherwise this cloning will not work at all. So let's get back. Let me. Okay, so the moment you are using Git bash, you can actually type Linux commands. That is the beauty of Git bash. Give me a second here. And don't bother about capturing these links and commands and whatever I'm typing. I share notes every day. If you try to keep up with me during the class by replicating what I'm doing, you will miss out on the theoretical concepts which I'm imparting right now. Okay, so I would rather suggest you to focus on what I'm teaching. All these details you will always have. There are the recorded video sessions, and then apart from that, any link, any document, you will have access to all of that. Don't worry about it. Don't try to take notes because I'm already, I mean, like in written also day wise, like so each day you can think of it like a section, and in each section, like there are pages. Like everything is there in detail here, how I proceeded in the course. Okay, so in an incremental, I mean, like day wise, it will be left to right. Obviously, day 1, day 2, day 3. And then page wise, you have to, like, I have not numbered it, but it will be like follow the vertical order, top to down. Right, let's get back to completing this part. I've digressed a little bit. So there you go. So this is Git already is installed. Just to confirm, you can type the command which Git, press enter. If you are getting a link like this, okay, an output, that means this is the Git executable. It has verified and it has been able to search out what is the path, where is the Git executable. So Git is installed. Okay, and anyways, you are using Git bash, so that is proof enough. And you are also, if you check your using PWD, you can check your current working location. So yes, I want it in this folder. Okay, so this is the problem actually. If you try to use CD to navigate, like Windows uses the opposite pattern. Okay, for example, like if I right click on it, and if this is the problem if you try to do a CD navigation. CD means change directory. See the slash here. Linux uses the opposite slash. And I mean, like just copy pasting the path, and then Windows has the concept of C drive. So there is a colon actually. Let me show you. This is a basic difference between Linux operating systems versus Windows. Okay, so this is one very important thing. Like in Linux, you can have only one root user. Okay, in Windows, the concept is with drives. In Windows operating system, you can have multiple root users. So each drive is actually a root account. Okay, so if you have another hard disk in your computer, or maybe you have partitioned your existing single hard disk, then like C drive, D drive, E drive, it gradually increases like that. They all become root accounts at the drive level. Okay, that is the Windows concept. But compared to that, in Linux, you do not have anything. See, the same, the same directory in Linux, see how it is showing. No, this is not the same directory actually. So in Windows, it will show like this. This slash will be the other one. Backward or forward. So this is the Windows way. Okay. I mean, like, this is a minor thing. The slash is opposite. But compared to that, the concept of root level is very much different. In Windows, if I have another directory, that will be named as D drive or E. It ranges from A to Z, A to Z. Okay. Can anybody tell me like why always in Windows it starts with C? Where is A and B in the drives at a root level? Any guess?
Those drives are assigned to floppy drives.
Yeah. So that was way earlier. Usually, I mean, like many of you would not know, but in the early days, like during the 1990s, nowadays, the modern laptops do not even come with CD drives. So there was something like a floppy drive wherein like 3.4 MB, that was the maximum size. Okay. So A and B were reserved for floppy drives. So that's why after that, with as Windows as an operating system also progressed, C became the standard drive for your hard disk. Anyways, so actually, you should know this. This is a very basic difference between Windows OS. The same path I am showing in like how it is represented in Windows versus Linux. Okay. Let these minor things be present in the notes. This will help you to recollect later on. Okay. Right. Now let's get back to this thing. Okay. So there are certain basic Git commands one by one. As we proceed, we will see those. So I'll press Ctrl L to clear the screen. because you can, although this is, I am using this inside Windows, this Git bash, but you can treat it as if it is, you can type the Linux commands. That is the reason why we have used Git bash. There are other ways also of doing it using PowerShell or maybe IntelliJ, JetBrains IntelliJ IDs. But believe me, I've used it a lot. Git bash is the easiest, most neat and clean to work with, right? So the first command that you need to do, you are in this project right now. So basically what will happen is, the thing that we are attempting to do, you should be getting all these files and folders should get created in a folder called DevOps Basics, because this is my project. Okay, this project, there should be a folder DevOps Basics, and inside that all these files and folders should get replicated. So let's see. Now, to see the contents, I can type LL. LL stands for long listing. In case there are hidden files, LL-A. These are all Linux commands, by the way. Okay, so there is nothing here. Ignore this. This has got a separate meaning in Linux. Ignore this for the timing. These are not any particular files or folders. Dot means your current directory. Dot means one directory above, like going one up. So currently my directory is my projects. The one directory above that is the desktop directory. So there are no files. Okay. So then let's type the git command to clone. The process to replicate your remote repo into your local is to use the git. So any git command will always start with git. That is how you are telling the operating system that please use specific git commands. Okay, the git exe will always be the starting word. After that, the specific command. In this case, you are asking git to clone. Clone from a link. What is that link? It is this link. Go to your remote repo, because you are cloning your remote repo. Go to that particular project. In a real life scenario, just like DevOps Basics, there will be like 15, 20 projects in a GitHub account, if you are the DevOps engineer who is maintaining that or accessing it. Anyways, so all you need to do is copy this HTTPS link. Okay, do not choose SSH, otherwise it will not work. And anyways, GitHub CLI is completely different. That's a GitHub CLI unique feature. So I will copy this and go back to Git bash, and then simply right click. Okay, press the end key, and that's it. Press enter. Cloning into DevOps Basics. Now it has started copy pasting the data. Right. So if you see now, let's press. So it has actually successfully done that now. Right. Let's see. Let's verify. So if I do LL, now you can see there is a project called DevOps Basics. Okay. You need but to start working on that, you will have to first navigate into DevOps Basics. So CD, just type the initial letter and press tab. Okay. Try to avoid typing path names and file and folder names as much as possible. That way you will not make any human induced errors while typing. So I have logged into the project folder, DevOps Basics. Okay, so Control L will clear the screen. Now, using Git bash, actually, so because I've cloned it, here what you are seeing is something called a branch. Okay. Currently, it is in the main branch. So branching and all that, we don't need to bother, but we need to know the name. Okay, because developers, they will be writing code in different branches. Usually in one branch, there will be development tasks going on. Okay, that is some kind of in progress thing that the developers do not want to commit. They are still working on it. They are checking if the business requirement, if they are able to keep up with it or not, if they have solved the problem or not. Similarly, there will be a branch for testing team, and then there will be a branch for production. Okay, so usually the main branch is the one which is always code ready, and this is the whatever code is present, code base is present in the main branch. It is also called master, main, master, or in case you give it some other name, but usually main and master are the most common terms for branch. So in the Git Bash will show you the branch, whichever branch name is present, you are in currently now. Okay. Now, if I do a ll-a, so I want to see all the files and folders and press enter. So if you now compare, you have got .git, .project, .setting, all these files, whichever were there in the, whichever are present in the remote repo, that entire thing has come up here. Okay. There will be, but there will be some additional files also. Okay. For example, this .git folder. This .git folder is actually a hidden, anything with dot is a hidden file and folder. Okay. You're not supposed to touch this .git folder at all. So if you like inside the .git folder, there are other files which Git uses to maintain this project in your local repo and for smooth communication with the remote repo. Whatever you are doing, you by typing in the various Git commands, it affects the contents of the .git folder. So if this .git folder is not present, this folder, this DevOps Basics folder will cease to exist working with Git. Okay, so in case you are you have this specific folder in which you want to retain the code files, but you don't want it to be maintained by Git anymore, what you can simply do is remove the .git folder. Okay, so because .git, anything with blue is actually a directory or a folder. The ones in white, they are individual files. The other way you can identify it is in the long listing. If anything starts with D in the beginning, D stands for directory. Okay. If it is a dash, then that means it is just a regular file. So if it is a directory, that means it has got many other files inside it. Okay. So if you want to delete a directory, then I'm like RM is the command to remove. Okay. But then if you want to delete a directory and its contents, you have to force it with switches. RF. F is force, F is force, R is for recursive. So that keep deleting till you reach the end of each folder. If there are multiple files and multiple folders within each folder, then you keep deleting them. Otherwise, it will actually not work. So let me just try. So I'm trying to remove .git. If I delete .git, then it will not be maintained by Git anymore. You will retain the code files. Okay. So see, this is the error, expected error, because it is saying it is a directory. That means it contains other files and folders also. So let me do -rf and then .git. There you go. I'm like, usually in Linux, if there is no message coming up, 99% of the times that is what it will look like. That means it has gone through successfully actually. So if I do ll-a, long list, -a means showing the hidden files. Now, as you can see, the moment I removed the .git folder, now it is not, because Git is not maintaining in it, it is not showing the branch. So all you have is only the folders, files and folders. Okay. Now, what if I so this is how you can, in a particular folder, you can get rid of, like if you don't want it to be managed by Git, all you can simply do is delete that specific .git folder. That's all you need to do. Okay. But what if I want this I have created, so imagine now I have created this local file and folder. Okay, so actually, no, let me get rid of this. And so basically I have to clone the thing once again. So right now in my projects, this DevOps basics folder is there. So let me get rid of this. And again, I will open Git bash here. So because I deleted everything, there is nothing present. And again, let's see. I will again use git clone command. So I just use the arrow keys. It sort of remembers what were the last commands which you used, and then you press enter. There you go. So if I do LL, so the DevOps basics folder has come into existence again. Let's clear the screen and let's cd into DevOps basics. Press enter. So now, as you can see, main is present. The branch name is present. Pretty cool. And we have, if I do ll-a, we have got our entire code repository. This is how you create your, now I have got my local repository. I can make changes. I can, so whatever we had discussed earlier, push, pull, where was it? I think it was Git concepts. So basically this thing, working directory, staging area, local repo, remote repo, all of this thing, now you can do from your local system. Okay, we will get into that. But before that, we have installed it in our local PC here. Yes, Arun, do you have any question? Right. So let us replicate this same thing. Where? In our EC2 instance. Okay. Because that is something that you might need to do. So let me. Admin team, can you please check? Unknowingly, people are unmuting themselves, and I'm actually expecting, I mean, like whenever you unmute, I expect somebody will ask some question. Okay, so I'm logging into my AWS account now. And okay, this is the admin user. Cool. Sign in. It should take me to my default. So once again, what are we doing here? We are doing this part. The same thing we did. What we did was in a Windows machine. Okay. Now we are going to do it in a Linux machine, because in this Amazon EC2, you have got the operating system here is Amazon Linux 2. Okay, it could be any other, so it could be SUSE Linux, it could be, in this one, the use case was Windows 10 specifically. So here also, that same thing you are doing, clone. Okay, Lakshmi, you're asking, can we restore, remove data in Git? Yes, but those are actually advanced Git concepts. Restore and all that is we can do many things with Git. Git in itself, if you want to learn till advanced level, it will take you around 2 months at least. Okay, and before that, you also need to know few other prerequisite concepts. So we are not doing Git advanced here. I've already discussed the course curriculum, so please go through that. The basic concepts we require, and as DevOps engineers, you will not need Git advanced commands at all. Okay, the major things that you are going to do are Git pull and Git push, the most commonly used ones. Okay, so let me check my instance here. Hopefully I had shut it down. So yeah, there is one instance. None of the instances are running. I'm in the Mumbai region here. So if I go to instances, I'll have to spin up the instance first. I'll have to switch it on. Let's click on the ARN value, expand it. And let me start the instance. Make sure you stop your instance at the end of your day's work. Otherwise, you will like it will add up to your hours. It will cut into your free hours. I'm actually waiting for this public IPv4 address to populate. Take some minute or so. It is still in a pending state. It should be in a running state for me to be able to access it. There you go. So I've got a public IP address now. And let's log in using. So don't confuse it with Git bash. Now I'm not using Git bash, okay? They might look all black in color, but this is mobile XTerm. I'm logging into my remote EC2 instance using SSH. So let's click on SSH. Remote host is the public IP of the EC2 instance. In the username, by default, it will be EC2-user. Advanced SSH settings. Check the box, use private key, and your private key should be present in your system. Okay, so I already okay, so I have got the .pem file and the generic file. Okay, it's getting a bit confusing here. Let me go to downloads folder. All these are done. So let's get rid of this. Right. Let me just delete these files. Okay, so see this generic, both are private keys. Okay, one is a PPK format. It ends with .ppk. One is generic .ppk. This can be only used with putty. And the other one is the .pem, generic .pem. Now, this is the original format of the file which I downloaded from when I created the key while launching the EC2 instance itself, the key pair. Okay, and I downloaded, if you see, check the details here. See, generic. So this was the key which was assigned to this system, to this server during the launch. Now, this PEM key, the beauty of mobile XTerm is you can log in using both the PPK or the PEM key. In putty, you cannot use the PEM key to log in. Okay, that's why. So I'll just use generic.ppk and click on open, and then click on OK. So using mobile XTerm, you can use both the files, .ppk, .pem, both formats you can use. So let me clear this up and Control L, clear the screen. Okay, so now if I go back to my diagram here, I want to do that same thing in the EC2 instance here, but this is a Linux system. So I want to clone my repo from my GitHub repo to my cloud PC, which is using Amazon Linux. So here again, this is a basic prerequisite. Git should be installed. Otherwise, it will not work. Okay. So let us first install Git. That is the preliminary step. You have to do that. Right. So sudo, because this is administrative task, yum, that is the install package manager. And then you are asking yum, it is a utility, it is the package manager. It installs, removes packages. Okay. Yum, you are asking yum because it can do multiple things. You have to specifically say, what do you want yum to do? I want yum to install. Install what? The name of the software. Git. Press enter. It will look for the files and folders and see. It has checked. It is it has checked the Amazon repository or the database. This is another repository. It is maintained by Amazon because Amazon is providing us with the Amazon Linux. Okay. So the package, what you want to install is called Git. And the version, and it has detected that my EC2 instance has got a x86 64-bit architecture. The repository from where it is downloading is Amazon 2-core. That is the name of the database. The version of the Git, which is applicable for this Amazon Linux 2 operating system version, is this. Now, while installing Git, it will require other additional softwares also. Okay, this is what Yum is handling. In the background, it is going to install all of these additional softwares which Git requires. I need Git, but Git needs these. These are any additional software that the core software that you are trying to use requires during installation. They are called dependencies. These are Linux concepts. Okay, I used multiple words here. Repository is from where you are going to fetch the software to install. Installing is the main software that you want to install. And then dependencies are the additional softwares, libraries, system files, all of this that Git requires. So all of these Yum has identified, and they also will get installed while the installation of Git. In the transaction summary, the total download size, this is not happening on your local system, mind it. This is happening in your remote EC2 instance. Okay, my system here that you are seeing, this one is a Windows system 10. I'm in Hyderabad. My EC2 instance is somewhere in Mumbai. I don't know where. Okay, Amazon keeps that a secret. But in one of its numerous data center clusters. Okay, so let's get back here. So it will download 13 megabytes of. It is showing you the size. Okay. And then after installation on the hard disk, it will utilize 44 megabytes. So all you have to do is press Y and press enter. Now, what I will do, I will press N to cancel the transaction. Okay. And let me show you how you can do this in one line so that it does not stop. Oh, yeah. So this is the command sudo yum install git. All you have to do is -y. If you type this additional, so this is like adding this -y will do an uninterrupted install, and then just press enter. So now it will not stop to ask, it will directly start doing it. Now, and if you see now Git is installed. Okay. Here you have got, I mean, like the major version of Git that was got installed and all the dependency softwares which Git will require. Okay. Somewhere down the line, Perl language is also coming up. Okay. So let me clear the screen here. Now, how do I check if Git is installed? Which Git? Oh, sorry. Okay. If you are getting a path like this, so that means the shell was able to find, bash was able to find the Git executable in this path, root user bin Git. Okay. Usually any executable, if it resides in this path, user root user / bin, that means this will be accessible to all other users in this Linux system. Right now, the user who is logged in is EC2-user. There can be other users also. Okay, which you on a day-to-day basis, you might need to create. And that we will see, we will have to create multiple users. Okay, so if you keep the executable in this particular path, root user / bin, then it will be accessible to all the other users as well. So, okay, fine. Git is installed. Now, basically, we are going to use the same command, whatever we used earlier in git bash in the Windows system. So let me just use the up arrow key. So this is the same command that you need to do now. Okay. There you go. If you just highlight it like this, either you can drag or you can do a double left click. Okay, double left click, ignore the git clone thing. So I'll just highlight it. Moment you highlight it in the git bash or in any Linux terminal, it automatically gets copied. So let's go back to MOBA Xterm. Okay, this is my EC2 Linux machine again. Okay, and then just right click and then press enter. There you go. So if I do a PWD, it will show what is my current directory here. It is root home EC2 user. And if I do LL, so apart from there was something I did with some transfer text file. Apart from that, if you see DevOps Basics is also present here. So if so in order to be able to use it, I need to CD into it, change directory into it. CD DevOps Basics, enter, Control L to clear the screen. Now if I do LL-A, there you have all the files and folders which are present in your remote directory. Okay, this is how, but then this has got certain limitations. Like it is not showing you the main branch, if you see here, unlike MobaXterm, unlike Git Bash. Okay, so here, because this one is very, it becomes very easy to identify. Otherwise, every time, like if you want to check, like when you're not able to see something like this, if you want to check, oh, sorry, where am I? MobaXterm, here. Every time you'll have to type git and then branch to check which branch you are in. BRANCH. Okay, and then it will show you, like if there are multiple branches, it will list it out, and then the one in which you are currently logged into, it will have a asterisk mark or a star to the left of it. So that's how you clone into a Linux terminal. So this one is also done. Kindly okay, red is not a good color. Green. Kindly unmute yourself, and if you have any doubts and queries, this is the time to ask it now. No questions? Everybody understood? Okay. Let's see what next. Now, so using Git locally and remotely, and we will start using it. So for example, you can, I mean, like the process will be the same. Either you do it in your Linux system or you do it in using your Git Bash, wherever you have got it stored. Okay. So yeah, let me show you some basic Git commands here. Git push and Git pull, that part is, yeah, that part we have to do. Right. So, where is my remote repository? Right. So if you check GitHub, you need to make sure which branch you are in. Okay. There can be multiple branches. Now this, for simplicity in this course, I've kept only one branch because this is not a development course where I'm going to teach you like entire Git process flow. Okay. But in real time, you will have multiple branches here. As I said, there will be a branch for development, or even developers will have multiple branches where they are working on features, individual features or bug fixes till the time they fix it and merge it into main or master will be the branch which will contain the code that will, ideally that is the branch that will contain the code which is always production ready. That means in other branches you can keep experimenting and working, keep things in progress, changing code, but main branch should have code which is always deployable. In case the newer release has got some major drawback, then you can roll back to the main branch every time. So you will only inject code into the main branch when you are absolutely sure the developers have written the code and it has gone through multiple cycles of testing. Okay, the testing team has tested it, and after deployment, it has been, even the users have also, are there quite comfortably and fluently using it. Okay. Well, that by that time you have already pushed it into production, so it's a moot point. But the code in the main branch is considered production ready. So now, how are we going to make changes here? Okay, let's see. Now, to make it easy, there is one particular file. Actually, no. Let me not do that. That I will come up later on after installation of Jenkins. Let me just show you. So see the things here, setting server, web app project, and all of this. Now, what if I want to add a file? Okay, so let's do a Control L, clear the screen, LL-A. This is the current status. Okay, now every time you do anything, I mean, like if you want to check what is the status, you can always type git status. Okay, it will show you on which branch you are. Your branch is up to date with origin. Origin refers to this word. Origin is actually referring to your remote repo, this one. Basically this link, github.com, your user ID, and then the particular folder, project folder, in this case, DevOps Basics. Okay, so whenever you see origin, it is always referring to your remote repo. Nothing to commit, working tree, clean. Cool. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a file. So let me, using VI editor, I will just create. So let me use touch command to create. Touch is used in Linux to create empty files. Okay. So test.txt, press enter. Okay. So if I do a LL now, this new file has come into existence. Okay. I just now created it. So how do we, but this test file is not present in your remote directory, remote repo. This is present. It is not even present in your local repo. Sorry, ignore this one. This is, let me open. I'm doing it in Git bash. You can do the same thing from the EC2 client also, EC2 machine also. It does not matter. The commands will be exactly the same. Both are Linux commands. So this test.txt file is not present. So let me write something into it. To write it, you need an editor. So I'm going to use VI. VI is the default editor in all Linux systems. So VI test.txt. Enter. It has opened up the editor. So here, basically, you have to understand when you're using Git bash, you are sort of mimicking Linux in a Windows system. Okay. So, but more or less, most of the commands actually work here. Now, let me open up the, I've opened up the editor, but when you open up the VI editor, you will have two modes. One is the command mode. Right now, I'm in the command mode. What happened? And the other one is your editor mode. Now, the moment, so I'm going to, there are a lot of things that I will be typing on my keyboard, but they will not show up on the screen. Okay, so that's why I'm using the virtual keyboard. So using the mouse, I will try to trigger the keyboard events. So right now, what you're seeing here is your command mode of the VI editor. Before you can, so if you want to give special commands, or if you, for example, I want to set the line number, okay? Because if it is very easy, if you can see the line numbers here, they will not be part of the file, but it will help in readability. Okay, so to set line number, to give special commands, you should be in the command mode. So you have to start with shift : and then set space NU. NU stands for number, and then press enter. So whatever I used in the mouse, these are the same things you will do in your keyboard. I'm using the mouse intentionally so that I can show you. Okay, because this will not be part of the history. Okay, otherwise it is very difficult. Initially, people who are using VI or Vim for the first time, Linux editors, they find it very difficult to navigate this through this part. So if I press enter now, automatically a line number will come up, but this will not be part of the file. I have not written anything yet. That is why it is stuck on, like it is just showing line number 1. If there is any tilde symbol, that means these are just empty. There is no line here. Okay. So now I want to write something. I want to type something here. Okay. Then you, from command mode, you have to get into insert mode. For that, you have to specifically press the I button. Okay. Click I. And then if you see at the bottom, now it is saying insert mode. Always read the very last line. Now you can do the edits. now you can actually practically type anything that you want. Okay. In the command mode, you will not be able to type. Okay. So let me get rid of this and let me just search for something I will put here. I don't want to type, but I want to put something meaningful here. So I'll just copy one poem by Robert Frost. There you go. Just a sample. Right click, copy. Sorry, git bash. And I'll just do a right click here. There you go. So this is the content of the file. Now you want to save this file and then you want to come out of it, because see, now you're not seeing the shell. You are actually inside the editor. Do not get confused with the consistent black screen. Right now, you are not seeing the shell. You are looking at the VI editor. You are in the insert mode. So how do we save this file? So right now I'm in the insert mode. So from insert mode, or insert is also called the editor mode, you have to come out of insert mode by pressing the escape key. See, now the insert mode has disappeared. Now, again, now you can give the special commands. So colon, this one, okay? So for that, you have to press shift, not the semicolon, okay? This double dot vertical. And then click on this. So see, now colon has come up. So now it is ready. In the command mode, it is ready to take your command. So for saving, you have to press W. And for quitting the file, you want to save the file and then quit. Press Q and then press enter. There you go. So as you can see, now you are back to your shell. Okay. So if I do LL, no, not LL. LL will anyways show the file. If I want to see if test.txt, if there is any, initially when I used the touch command, it was an empty file. If I want to check if there is, check the contents of the test file, do Control L and use cat command. Cat test.txt. So file name, press enter. It will not show you, it is only read only. So it will open up it will display the contents of the file. But that is not the purpose of our Git. Git was, our main purpose is how can we actually push it to the developers are making some code changes. So imagine I am a developer, I created a code file, this test.txt file. Okay, I've written a poem in that, but does not matter. It should have been code. But that is not what we are dealing with here. Some change has been made that will be treated as code change. Now, from the local repo, you want it to be present in your remote repo. Okay, how do we do that? How do we do that? Go back to git bash. And now, if you one by one see what will happen. If you check git status, now Git has identified that there is some change in the existing folder because Git is managing it. It has and that it is putting it in red, and it is saying that I'm not tracking this file, but there is some change which I have noticed. If you want me to track it, then you will have to commit this file. Okay. So if you go to yesterday's notes, see, this is, so right now that test.txt, that code which I've written, that is present in my working directory. So the first step that I have to do, from working directory, I have to put it into staging area. And for that, I have to use the git add command. So git add, and then you can give the name of the file. In this case, test.txt. Okay. But usually developers, they will be writing multiple files, maybe 10, 15 files, and they want it to be committed at the same time. If you want to do it in one shot, all the files which are there, which are untracked and are present in your working directory, you can just type git add dot. Okay. That dot means include all the files which are untracked and then press enter. Okay. Ignore this line. That's fine because you are using Linux in a Windows mode. So it's fine. So now again, if you do git status check, now see now Git has started tracking the file, and it is seeing that there is a file called test.txt. Okay. And now the next step that you need to do is from staging area, now you need to add it to your local Git repository. So there is a difference. Your file is present in your system. That does not mean the file is present in your local repo. You have to tell Git that I want to add this code, file or files or folders to my local repository. Without adding it to your local repository, you cannot do git push, and hence you cannot push the code to your remote repository. The code residing as a file in your local system does not mean the code is in your local Git repository. They are two different things. In order to do that, you will have to do a git commit from and move that file from the staging area to the local repo. Let's do that. Control L, git commit, and then you have to give a message. So all the files which are there in the staging area now, so -m, because without giving a reason, Git will not allow you. Okay, see, if I just put git commit, press enter, it will not allow you. First of all, my identity is not set. So unable to auto-detect email address. So fine, this is for configuring your identity, like who is doing the commit. First of all, that is one major issue, because what, who, how, when, all these questions need to be answered. Okay, so what I can do is like, Git is actually suggesting. So let me configure this part. First, the email. Email, but I created a specific email just for this course. So let me fetch that. So you are going to identify yourself first. Control C, right click, and double quote end. Oops. And then press enter. Okay. And let's give a username also. Git config -FN global user.name. So I'm giving something meaningful so that we can identify, because now whoever is making changes, it will get registered in the GitHub globally. Everybody will be able to see. Okay. Right. Now let me do git commit. Now let's see. Now, because I did not give any, so it is forcing me to type a message here. Why are you making changes? Okay. So now again, it has actually opened up the text editor. So again, I have to get into insert mode first. That's why the insert word came up. And then I'll just type like adding test.txt. For remote repo push test. Okay, that's it. So now press from insert mode. Now I have to press escape and come into command mode and save and quit the file. So colon, first escape, then colon, and then WQ, enter. There you go. So now Git has done the commit. Okay. There is a hexadecimal So this is only showing the first 7 characters, but actually this is like 40 characters long. This is the commit that has happened. So now this, if I do a git status again, this code is now present in my local repo. Okay. So that is why it is saying your branch is ahead of origin main by 1 commit. That means there has been 1 commit in which code files are present in my local repository, which are not present in remote repository. Okay. So we have come to this part here now, git commit. So my code is now present in local repo. Now I need to push it to remote repo. So for that, I have to use git push command. Just see how it is happening logically in stages. So let me just try git push and press enter. If there is any error, git actually helps you. If there is any error, it will come up and it will prompt you that you need to do this next thing. Okay. So actually now, okay, we have actually crossed the meeting time. Let's meet tomorrow. We will deal with this. There is some token thing. I will have to do a SSH connection to connect your system with GitHub. Okay, then only you will be able to use it. I'll show that tomorrow because this is going to take time. Now, before I wrap up, are there any quick questions? We'll start with git push tomorrow. If I cancel this, it will actually fail. No questions? We good? Cool.